In the book, the author, who is also a keen scientist, has made an attempt to unfold that insecurities of our life make us seek God, and more so His blessings to make our existence complete and secured. We perceive God as our shield. In pursuit of learning the skill to live happily, we forget the destination of this journey called life is something else. The author emerges as a skeptic, as he voices his questions regarding the presence of God and divine jurisdiction. The curiosity of the author has enabled him to encounter some spiritually evolved people. He honestly describes his encounter with the people who took him through transcendental experiences. It was through his unquestioned surrender that he could get the flashes from the spiritual world. These short-lived experiences do not cease his curiosity, and hence he embarks on his journey to unravel the mystery of God through scientific reasoning. The writer narrows down on the existence of an intelligent force. He emphasizes that we should wake up not only from our slumber, but also from the imaginary world of our perceptions, and hints at a path to follow. Earlier, the article was available at replyat.com during the year 2011 to 2012. Many people were impressed to find it.
Now I'm glad I noticed this article. It is exactly the right information that I wanted. Even though I haven't said hi till now, I have been reading your blog and loving it. Maintain up the excellent work. Cheers. Nothing against the article, but I disagree with a couple of points to some extent. I'm probably a minority though. Lol. Thanks for sharing it. Beautiful website. You are a blessing to me and to everyone who hears you sing or preach. Keep on letting your beautiful light shine for Jesus. Love you. I just added your page to my favorites. I enjoy reading your posts. Thank you. Just thought I'd drop you a line to tell you that it really rocks. I have been looking for this sort of information for a long time. I don't usually reply to posts, but I will in this case. Wow, terrific, great. This article gives the light in which we can observe the reality. Million kudos to the author. A fantastic post. I definitely desired to deliver a quick concept to thank you for the nice tips and hints you're posting on www.replyat.com. My time-consuming internet appear up has now been rewarded with helpful strategies to exchange with my family and friends. I'd claim that we readers fact are truly blessed to dwell in a helpful community, with incredibly some great individuals with insightful points. I really feel really grateful to get discovered the webpage, and appear ahead to a lot of additional entertaining moments reading right here. Thanks a good deal again for a good deal of things. Wow, I am so impressed. Great job.
Mystery of Invisible God. The Earth is the most familiar as well as the most mysterious planet for us. Variety of living creatures are appearing and vanishing at every moment. Every living being is trying to remain alive, trying to prove better to win the heart of some dream partner. All of them seek comforts, enjoyment, food and security. Death is certain. Some die too young. Many die before they could open their eyes, and the rest leave this world in a pitiable state. Even the richest or the strongest or the most educated are found to be pleading for more life till their last breath. The facial expression of a dead person clearly indicates how stunned he was at that last moment when he was experiencing an unexpected unimagined happening. They wanted to cry like a child but felt so chained that they could not even blink their eyes. They surrendered to death after they used up their last grain of energy to take one more breath. They appeared to have felt cheated when they found themselves all alone in the dark to experience the most unexpected shocking incident, which was never told to them. They accepted the defeat as the only alternative. It seems that they didn't die due to ailment, but due to their heart failure as a result of mental shock. In the end, they appeared to have felt relaxed and cool to see the end of the worst storm. The dying might have learnt the end of their lives even before their actual death, when they could hear their dearest preparing to bury their lifeless body at the earliest. If there is a life after death, and if the dead can watch the last farewell by their most trusted friends and relatives, and if they could ever remember the previous death experience, they will never wish to take a rebirth even in the most beautiful heaven to die again. Many people are teaching the art of living, to continue that is bound to end, or art to reach the heights without teaching the art to descent. All of them help to board the best train without any bothering for the real destination. There are many professional gurus engaged as guides to the path to heavens. They themselves have not yet experienced what they generally tell others to experience. They have learnt the theories of their profession from some literature, which is probably written by someone to satisfy his own worldly requirements. Human beings have formed different communities to remain secure. Securities, fear, and the craze to be rich for happy lives are the main factors that make many people believe in some kind of God. But the true God, if any, remains just an illusion to millions of helpless suffering souls. These helpless souls, even during their last breath, prefer to believe that they are going to heaven, as God may consider their case even after death. Heaven is a scene expressed by their elders, gurus of their community, or it is imagined based on an individual's perceptions. God is only considered to be a means to achieve what remains unachievable. God is being treated as a tool for personal gains. It is being treated as some supper friend, guardian, merciful, almighty, and an item of security cover mainly available from religious places or gurus. God is defined in a variety of ways. Even those who don't believe in God have defined him in a form they don't believe in. The scientific community, considered to be the most allergic to this mysterious word God, have not yet known even more than 1% of their own brain. They are far away from the real mystery of the universe. In fact, nobody is really concerned to know the ultimate simple truth. The primary object of every living being is to fight for its own survival and gains. Even the firm believer of God too wishes to remain on both sides of the fence by saying, God helps those who help themselves. They generally wish to have complete control with them by designing the blueprint of their future by themselves, and try to assign some difficult problems to God while keeping the simpler one with them. They try to please God with their money power by contributing to the richness of the religious places, by organizing charitable functions, by distributing food and medicines to the poor, and by loud chanting through loudspeakers. They contribute a small segment of their earnings as a way to bribe God so that their business may continue to flourish. They know they are using many illegal means to earn, but they consider it as their internal matter.
Even scientists prefer to ignore some realities to safeguard their own personal gains. With their money power, they have also formed strong lobbies where they try to safeguard their own existence, fame and gains. There are countries, governments, political parties, communities, welfare associations and many underground organizations that are mainly working for their own survival. All of them claim to be the well-wishers of human beings. Their fear and lack of trust among each other has created a complete jungle of this beautiful earth. Everyone is trying to possess the weapons of mass destruction. About 90% of the resources of this earth are being used up for protection from our own created enemies. But no one is really bothered for his or her own battle, namely the security from our own death. We consider it to be already lost. The word death is the most hated word, but it is the only reality that forces many of us to seek some hidden power, namely God. In fact, our ignorance, insecurity, or any other unfulfilled wish compels us to find some magic power in the form of God or dirty weapons. Many try to have both God and weapons. Maybe very few have ever imagined the real God, or have tried to find the real purpose of life. Myself always remained very eager to know as to why the mysterious word, God, has been so popular ever since mankind came into existence, even when the majority of us have failed to find it. It may be that during the act of worshipping, we are unknowingly surrendering to some kind of God of our imagination that helps to relax our overexcited mental veins and creates a condition for our mind to operate some new functions. Maybe the act of surrender is the real science, which is similar to sleep that must happen to recharge some hidden powers of our mind. God appeared to have come from a vacuum, and different communities have given it an identity based on their own experiences and necessities. But that does not prove that there may not be a real super-intelligent force that can be named as God. I am also a believer of God, since I too prefer to cover maximum risk. I was not only interested to know the working of general scientific stuff, but also have devoted my spare time to seek the knowledge of God. I could find some mysterious persons associated with this science and have tried different prayers and pujas. I was lucky to experience some strange happenings, probably that can be a supportive evidence to God of my imagination. I have also met many astrologers, but it was a wonderful experience to meet a person who was able to predict the future by some silly technique. He claimed to have out-of-body experience. He explained that during the out-of-body experience one will experience a condition similar to dream, but it wouldn't be out of imagination. These can be termed as dreams as you are watching the scene without using your physical eyes, but at the same time it is all real since you are not sleeping. During this condition, you can watch your own body, and generally you are floating around it. Some people have been found to be going far away, even to other planets. During this condition, you can observe many other wandering souls and can interact with them. You can test the validity of your observations if you have just visited a nearby place. You will experience your two different bodies, the materialistic and something non-materialistic. You will find yourself complete with your memory and sense of feelings in your non-materialistic form, except that you won't find it easy to have physical contact. You can watch, hear, and feel warmth and smell not only from your surroundings, but can also read the brains of other persons. Another test is that your heart will be beating strangely. If I consider his findings to be true, I feel that I may have also experienced these strange phenomena momentarily on 2 occasions. I have watched my exact posture of sleeping from the window of my room, and have observed my daughter standing behind me during a catnap sleep. Maybe many of us have experienced it unknowingly. If consciousness can exist without a physical body, there can be a more powerful consciousness prevailing all over the universe. Since I have experienced some unknown phenomena, I can't deny the presence of God, but still I am not capable of perceiving it beyond doubt by my limited mental capability. To my imagination, God can be a system or an intelligence force beyond our comprehension. It can create unimaginative conditions, such as it can make you feel cold even if your body is in flames. But we know that such conditions can also be created by hypnosis. We actually don't need more than that, as we are only concerned for the feeling of our own well-being. Why seek for God when your purpose is solved? But I wish to go a little further since I am more concerned with life beyond death. I feel astonished to see people addicted to enjoying the temporary phase of life, without any concern to their horrifying end. The same people are found to be most disturbed if they happen to lose their little money purse. This strange behavior of humans does indicate that we are made to behave and feel that has already been planned by our creating system. I feel very sad to see helpless innocent creatures dying at a young age. I feel very painful when I have to kill the cockroaches, flies, mosquitoes, etc. I can imagine the pain and agony of those suffering with AIDS and other dreaded diseases. I may be called weak-hearted or cowardly, as I can't enjoy their sufferings. I want to know the real culprit behind the sufferings of all innocent creatures. I have a feeling that God too has limitations, as He can't save us from our sufferings. He can't help us to remain immortal. He is a slave to His own laws. When I could not find anyone to solve the puzzle of life and death, I just told myself, forget God. If I am too afraid of death, and if there is no other alternative, I need to compromise with death. I must find out why there is a fear of death. I have to find out its useful factors. I should prepare myself to enjoy it. I need to seek maximum knowledge by best utilizing the present. Why should we be ignorant and afraid of our own universe, when we are a part of this universe? Since we are a part of this universe, nature, God, should be the most careful and friendly to us. The fear, pain and all our other disturbances must be a result of our own ignorance that leads us to a wrong environment, where we try to be smarter than our naturally assigned limitations. We must accept that if we can't conquer death, or the fear of death, our life will be a complete waste. And if we willfully try to forget the reality, by remaining completely addicted to enjoying the sweetness of life, we are not different from an ordinary pigeon. The pigeon generally closes his eyes when a cat pounces on him. It may be that he perceives himself to be safe when not watching the attacking enemy. We too are here to die, but in a most appropriate and satisfied way. We are here not to commit suicide, or wait for the worst to happen, or to loot and kill others for our short-lived comforts. We are here to be blessed by the knowledge of ultimate truth and the everlasting complete happiness. We need to harvest the real fruit from our beautiful plant that has been gifted to us in the form of our body. Our body is the most precious and unique item that we can ever possess. But it is available for a very short period. It is completely temporary. It needs to be the best utilized to clear the final exam. In my view, our real victory can be only when we can understand that death is also as important as our day-to-day sleep. We don't need to push it beyond a limit. As long as we don't learn to swim towards the flow, we are bound to undergo great suffering. Pain and fear may be nature's useful signals to alert the living creatures to follow the right path. Pain or disturbance is not only caused by any physical torture, but the worst can be experienced when your own trustworthy friends, relatives, or family members deceive you. It is even worse when all your lifelong earnings slip away at the end of journey. Strangely, everyone is aware of whatever is mentioned above, but still we prefer to ignore the reality by trying to get lost in the pursuit to acquire money, power, and temporary gains. Human beings have the tendency to be satisfied by winning others. They don't enjoy being left behind in any competition. But if they know that everybody is going to perish, they don't mind getting perished with them. Most of our time is used up in competition with our fellow beings, to show our superiority till we find ourselves trapped in the clutches of our own death. At the last moment of emergency, almost everyone tries to take a chance by seeking some god as the only alternative. Those last precious moments may be transforming some living beings to such a purest form that they may not need any god anymore. It is easy to find God when we don't really need it. Now just consider the following questions. These are the main questions I used to put to people who claim to be spiritually perfect. Does God really exist? Why is God required to do corrections in his plans for someone praying to him? Does it mean God is not a good planner from the beginning? When we consider him to be complete in all respects, why does he need buttering and prayers? Does God really punish anyone for wrong deeds? Does God reward anyone for a good job? How can you judge if you are doing wrong or good? Well, if you are helping a blind man, you will certainly feel that you are doing a good job. But on the other hand, if God has made him blind for some punishment, you may be helping a criminal. Why should God worry about all this nonsense when he is not going to lose or gain anything? How can we make God happy when he is above grief and pain and is never unhappy? Why can God not eliminate the sufferings of every creature by his almighty strength and complete control? Does it mean he too enjoys the cruelty on his own creatures? There are many nice humans who help the needy without expecting any gains from them. They help the needy because they cannot see their sufferings. Can't God do the same thing when he is super rich and merciful, or else these nice humans are not acting as per his wishes? Or maybe he is acting through these nice humans. If we consider him to be using nice humans to help the needy, he may also be using the bad humans to create troubles and sufferings to establish his importance, so that the sufferers may continue to beg and pray. Don't you feel that God is creating all this confusion and doing this juggling? Otherwise, who is going to remember him? Or, don't you think we have created all these confusions by ourselves and have invented the word God as a web for our own trapping? Or rather, a way to create fear among the miscreants or opponents? But, unfortunately, the miscreants too have invented their own God. Now it is a fight among the different believers of God, including the non-believers. We are looming around our Third World War. We are going to burn our beautiful Earth to fulfill our short-lived personal gains, and God may be eager to watch and enjoy this great event. If God is so confusing and unpredictable, how can we trust Him? If we consider God to be in full control, He needs to explain His real motive not only to His followers, but also to all the living beings. Why does He prefer to be hidden? Why are we required to pray or beg repeatedly? Is He so hard of hearing? One day I met a person who asked me, "Do you need answers to these questions or wish to see God?" I said, "Both." He said, "What are you going to get once you find your answers?" I said, "It will satisfy me." He said, "So you want to be satisfied through your answers? But you may find more questions, and it may be a continuous process. You may have to take many births to complete this process. Can you believe that the universe does exist, and if it is here, it must be based on some scientific laws? And there should be answers to every question. It may be that we are not so qualified to understand each and every answer." I said, "If my mind can create any question, it should be capable of understanding its answer too." He said, "You appear to be like a patient who wishes to learn MBBS from the doctor before he can start his treatment for your sufferings." I said, "Take it another way. I will definitely try to know if the doctor is really qualified." He said, "Okay, what would you like to know first?" I said, "I would like to have my answers first. I am not so interested in seeing a beautiful or handsome God. He may not be even so handsome as I have imagined." He said, "So you only want to test the existence of God in your own way?" I said, "Yes, of course. I am not going to believe anyone as God even if it happens to appear in any strange magical way, or even if it can perform magical acts. I am already seeing the greatest act of magic when I see myself among the unlimited numbers of galaxies of countless planets that are moving in so perfection for my survival. My main problem is associated with my own bundle of questions. These are not only that I have already mentioned above. For example, I will also like to know why any person produces a strange meaningless sound and stretches the muscles of his mouth when he laughs. In fact, clarification to each and every event of the universe, including myself. I again asked him, "Have you seen God? Do you have any connection with Him? Why should I believe that you are really dearer and nearer to God?" He said, "Yes, I have felt God in my own way. But I wish others should also feel Him in their own way. It strengthens my faith. I enjoy others' experiences as I can't guess His unlimited properties." He continued, "But you will have to surrender to me as a patient, and should be prepared to devote some time for some prayer." I replied, "No, I can't surrender like that, and I can't accept any prayers, or any other unknown formula. If you are known to God, let Him make the things simple and straight. You already know my questions. You can pray on my behalf, as it will be more effective." He said, "But you need to be a little cooperative, as you want to solve your own problems. Remember that you will need to open your palm to hold your gift, as nothing will be forced on you. I will pray on your behalf, but you too need to do something. At least you can repeat your questions as prayer. You can compose your own prayer." I said, "Why am I required to repeat it again and again?" He explained to me the meaning of prayer and necessity to repeat. I asked, "To whom I will be required to pray?" He said, "Select from all the religions turn by turn. Imagine in your own way, and see for yourself as to who satisfies you." I think people generally never stick to one doctor for their incurable diseases. You should also give main importance to your own problem rather than to a particular religion, profession, or person. I discussed it with my wife, and we both decided to take a chance. Strangely, within a week, my wife and myself experienced strange phenomena. I experienced a condition that was described as Kumari. It is a strange condition of enjoyment where the mind stops producing questions. One feels as if he is just like God and everything is moving as per his wishes. Unknowingly, I could convert my ordinary food to prasad. It turns your food into the most delicious and energetic food. But that person immediately warned me not to indulge in adventures without his knowledge. He said, "You have created Amrit, that you are not supposed to eat like your ordinary food. It needs to be distributed among the true seekers of truth. You can't distribute it to everyone. Since you don't know how to handle it, you should not try such acts." Even after his warning, I could not resist myself and tried the act again, but it didn't work. Both prasad and amrit are religious offerings of food blessed by God. But these were all short-lived experiences. After some years, the same person suffered from a brain tumor and had to undergo major surgery. He was not the same person anymore. He avoided meeting me. His senior also died prematurely. One of my friends, who used to meet him to experience spirituality, died of throat cancer. These happenings created more confusion. I failed to understand as to why the superpower ditched their trusted followers. In my view, they may have been required to be more disciplined and careful once they got the admission in the higher organization. Humans easily get trapped in egos and start misusing their powers, which generally proves fatal to their own existence. I have met many strange personalities, and have experienced other unique experiences, but the reality remained eluded from me. Our ancestors have already created volumes of literature on spirituality, but many of them have not bothered to archive their experiences. They have avoided fame and fortune. They don't prefer to be called gurus, as they don't like to waste their time to preach to the masses. They consider themselves not authorized to interfere in his kingdom till there is a clear direction to do so. They prefer to utilize their precious time to acquire more knowledge rather than going to a crowd to show off their skills to be praised and cared for. They don't need us anymore as they have found their right path. I felt the need to explore the mystery of God by scientific reasoning. Since we analyze each experience by our thinking system, I considered understanding the working of our thinking system as a prime requirement. The consciousness and our thinking system are the basic faculties that we utilize to understand any event. The universe is colorless, but we are conscious to perceive it in a colorful manner by our ability to recognize different frequencies of light as colors. The colors, smell, taste, sound, warmth and pleasure get manifested within our consciousness. The external world is only a complex pattern of vibrations of a variety of matter and energy that we are made to recognize in a unique way. We are living in our physical body and are assumed to be using some thinking system to understand any event. But my real perception regarding our thinking system is so strange that I may not be able to find any takers initially. But at the same time, I hope not to find much resistance, as the existing scientific theories are not in the purest form too. These theories are based on some assumptions, especially during their very beginning. We are using gravitational laws, which are based on an assumption that matter attracts other matter. We don't know the actual cause and mechanism of attraction. Even when the universe is expanding, we are not in a position to change our assumption of attraction. It is very difficult to change the human mental perceptions if its effect has overpowered the mass community. Had Newton, during the formulation of gravitational laws, been aware of the expansion of the universe, he would have presented his laws in a different way. Our biased attitude by our consciousness is the real hurdle to reach the reality. We have already assumed ourselves to be the most intelligent creature with our unquestionable thinking system. Do we use any thinking system for the following actions? All our activities during the period of our life in the womb. Our attainment of different stages of growth. Anger, shyness, fear, weeping, smiling, love, etc. Symptoms of several diseases. Maintenance of body temperature, pressure, etc. Heart beating, digestion, sweating, sneezing, etc. Sleeping, dreaming, and the process of death. All these actions are the outcome of some reactions independent of our thinking system. In fact, our actions and reactions are solely dependent on the chemical structures of our body fluids, which are mostly created by our glands. Either the chemical fluids of our glands may be controlling the state of our body, or the state of our body may be controlling the glands. Or both are the different views of the same action, and the controlling force is somewhere else. Sadness and happiness are the two extreme conditions that we are most familiar with. Shyness, fearfulness, boldness, jealousies, states of anger and mercy are the other similar categories of the same effect, such as different colors of light, different kinds of taste, different types of smells, and different range of temperatures. We can measure temperature, and can also explain the colors with relation to different frequencies of light. We can't explain the remaining categories by any scientific system, but our consciousness has been already programmed to perceive these conditions in a unique way. The blue, red, yellow, and other colors are the ways in which we recognize different frequencies of light. We don't have any explanation as to why a particular color is associated with a specific frequency of light. Why can't blue take the place of red? Do all people conceive of blue in exactly the same manner? Maybe some people are seeing red as blue, but they have learnt to call it blue. We can't give any explanation to several such questions. We have been programmed to perceive different types of vibrations in the form of colors, tastes, smell, warmth, happiness, sound, shyness, fearfulness, jealousies, and a variety of other moods. From our non-materialistic state of comprehension to the vast universe, the complete system is working on the principle of vibrations and periodic motions. There appears to be a special system in our body that correlates the realities to some predefined perceptions to simplify our comprehension process. We are programmed to feel and believe some realities in a unique way. Things that we observe may not necessarily be in the form of our actual comprehension. It was very difficult to make people believe that the sun is not revolving around our Earth. Similarly, many things that appear to be real are so because of our wrong perceptions. There is one more very important parameter that is always associated with every activity. It is time. If anything exists, it needs to be available within a certain real-time period. That is, it should be physically available in the present time, so that we can sense it by our sensory system, or can detect its effects by scientific means. The time can be divided in three main segment blocks, namely past, present and future. If we wish to perform any meaningful action by our thinking system, to induce or try to induce any physical changes in or around us, we will be required to act in the present time only. But how exactly we can draw the boundaries between past, present and future is not so simple, since any minute present time dimension can be further sliced to smaller segments of past, present and future. That is, any present hour of time is a representation of the present minute along with 59 minutes from present and past. And similar is the case with a minute, or a second, and so on. In a broader sense, we don't have any present that can be represented by a certain time period. It seems to be non-existent. But, at the same time, during slicing of the minimum segment of the present time period, even after doing the slicing act indefinitely, the present will remain existent. It will not be a zero state, but just a zero state. If intelligent thinking is a process to plan and support the execution of any independent act, it should begin and end within the present dimension of time. It should have the capability to produce unpredictable results without the influence of the past. But, the present is completely dependent on the latest segment of the past. It may be the end of the past and the beginning of the future. The real-time period of the present, almost of zero dimensions, is not enough to accommodate any comprehensible complete act that we seem to be performing by our thinking system alone. But, we do feel our presence and the existence of a universe around us. To feel something can also be considered as an act in real time and space. The act of feeling is a process that can be performed in the minimum time of almost zero dimensions. This too will prove to be a reality only if we are sure of the reality of our feeling process. But, even if we are lost in the darkness, far away from the reality, we do exist to perceive the unreality. To perceive unreality can also be considered to be an act that should need a time for its process of happening. To sense an unreality from within us is an act that should require the minimum conceivable real-time period. Thus, we can't do anything on our own in the present dimension of time except sensing reality, or manipulating some unreality. We can't even explain a simple motion without the support of past and future, which are non-existent in real time and space. If we can't explain motion purely on the basis of present time, the feeling of pressures by a variety of unexplained forces like gravity or momentum can be a similar act as perceiving something which otherwise is entirely different, as is the case with light rays. In many cases, we are made to perceive reality as unreality, and unreality as reality to support some unknown cause. Our ignorance and extremely slow comprehension creates a wrong impression of us being at the seat of the driver. We are made to feel like that as it is part of a real game. We have to take an independent decision without being prejudiced. If we accept the non-existence of the present, the complete show takes a U-turn. Under the non-existent state of the present, nature need not develop any thinking system, rather it should support only sensing technology for the living bodies. Nature never produces useless technologies. Nature always follows the shortest and the simplest path to accomplish any task. If we don't have any thinking system, our brain may be acting just like other glands, mostly to produce unique chemical fluids required to maintain a two-way communication system through our body. The communicator may not necessarily be a part of our physical body. We may be just watching the activities, but are programmed to feel as if we are creating the activities. Is our purpose only to witness? Are there any chances for any corrections as per our wishes? If not, we need to learn to relax and surrender to watch all the activities that are being performed through us. The intelligence, to which we associate our thinking system, should not be confined to living organisms. It can also prevail beyond the skin of breathing bodies. We know that the life of all creatures on our Earth is dependent on the sun rays. If the sun appeared by default during the so-called Big Bang accident, the emergence of living creatures, including ourselves, can't be just a product of an unplanned event. Nothing in this universe, even the most insignificant thing, happens by chance or by accident. It is not difficult to believe that a careful planning, designing and maintenance system should be associated with the living creatures. The intelligent force must have been prevalent before the appearance of the first creature. The intelligent field must cover all the area of the universe for proper design and calibration of a living structure. The design of any living creature is so planned that it can survive and enjoy to the maximum under the prevailing conditions. The intelligent field must be associated with some source of energy, and we can imagine that it should not have emerged from a living creature. Rather, it should be prevalent before the appearance of the first living creature, and even before the Big Bang event of the universe. In any way, intelligence energy can be treated as energy similar to sun rays. We know that the closer we are to the sun, the warmer we feel. In the same way, the closer we are to the supreme intelligent source, the more intellectual we are. If we assume it to be a kind of energy, it should have its own source of generation, suggesting that nearer to this source more and more smart creatures can be found. There may be different seasons of intelligence, as a number of galaxies may be circulating around it in elliptical paths. That is, we are swinging between different kinds of civilizations. From the period from 1900 to 2000, we have made remarkable progress in the field of science, and many of our discoveries and inventions are not the result of our planned research. This indicates that we are approaching the nearest distance of the intelligent source. And if there is a last war, it will indicate that our solar system has started moving away from the intelligent source. Now the question is why an ignorant, helpless and useless self is created when the super-intelligent force can manage its own show. Perhaps our super artist, vast intelligence area with universe as its physical body, is also emotional, and it also has a wish to be praised for its greatest creation. Who is going to appreciate the universe if there are no living creatures? It is as if the great artist is enjoying his own creation through our eyes. The present is almost zero, and the future is a guess. Only the past can be felt. Mostly there are vibrations, oscillations and elliptical motions. Most of the events repeat periodically like a pendulum. From an electron to faraway galaxies, the law of harmonic swinging is followed. Sun, moon and all other planets appear again and again from their old positions. Does that not give a hint that we are watching the same super event periodically? It is only the past that is appearing again and again. Our perception deceives us to believe it as three different time identities. We dream while sleeping is an acceptable concept, But how can we be very sure that the awakening state is not the part of some other dream? We do not perceive most of the realities in true form. Things that appear to be real are so because of our perceptions. To see the reality, we need to wake up not only from our sleep, but also beyond the mist of our imaginary world of perceptions. So, it is better to find yourself than God. Accept your limitations and relax. Watch and enjoy your actions rather than waste your energy to create actions. Since there is not much scope to change, let the show go on. Surrender to your Creator. You are bound to gain during the act of surrender. The act of surrender is similar to sleep, which must happen to refresh your soul. The act of surrender can stimulate the glands of the brain in such a way that they produce valuable fluids of hormones and chemicals, which can help to neutralize the bad effects of grief and sorrow. Don't try to find a guru. Let the true guru find you. Have a wish to seek him. Be honest to seek him. Just seek him and nothing else. Life is too short. Don't let it go to waste.